Here we go.
Gotcha.
Recording in progress. How y'all doing? This is Jam Boom Boom as the world premiere. We're doing performance workshops, and we are here yet again with the incredible, the talented, the serene. What does serene mean? I wanted to say serene, or it's like surreal. Whatever. We got Chance here. You know what I'm saying? There's only so many
What's
words
up?
I can use. How you doing,
What's up?
Chance?
Doing good. Doing good.
Serene, maybe just chill. Maybe just because that's the mood right now. You giving like
Right.
serene,
You know.
chill. Okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
where's serene coming from? But yeah, anyway, this is gonna be another part of the workshop series, and this is devising original work. Now, original work that can encompass a lot of things, but I want to be very specific. We're gonna be talking about narratives. We can talk about music as well, but anything having to do with short stories, using words to convey a message, a moral or virtual principle, having to do with characters, having to do with dialogue. So I just want to make it more specific about, what the work is. So let's dive right into it. This is a discussion, a back and forth. I'm gonna just share what I've picked up along the way, catered to this topic specifically. Whenever you feel the need to speak up or a point here and there, please do. I'm not teaching anything. We just inspiring each other, helping out each other along the way when it comes to what we are creating in our own space. So yeah, devising original work. Like, I learned about it in the theater world, where you have your scripts that have already been written by the great playwrights of the past. You get casted as a character. People know these plays like the back of their hand. For example, in ninth grade, that's when I did my first play. We did the musical Annie. Everybody knows Annie, but I know Annie. So I attacked it like it was like the newest thing ever in the world. I played the cop. It brought out a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, we weren't doing anything as an ensemble, as a cast. We weren't doing anything original. We weren't doing anything mind-blowing. We were just basically, and not to downplay, because we did bring in a huge crowd, but we weren't necessarily bringing anything new to the table. So the whole idea in theater is that this is an age-old art form. It becomes, and here I go again with that word duty and responsibility, the duty of the artist to create something new, to bring something new, but we aren't necessarily taught how to do that, right? I know for me, and being in the institutions, even though it wasn't necessarily said consciously to me what I should be participating in due to how I look and due to where I come from, but they were just saying, you need to do this type of work and let us do that type of work. But I didn't agree with that. I was like, no, I don't want to talk about race. I don't want to talk about gender. I don't want to talk about none of this shit. It's not exciting. It's not fun to me. I want to talk about what I want to talk about. And so I went on a mission. I left school and I was like, man, I could go to LA. I could go to New York. I'm going to go right back to fuck home, as boring as that sounds. But planted this seed mentally and said, you know what? I'm going to figure out what it is that I can bring to the table. And God damn it, I did it.
Right. You've been doing it. You're doing it now.
We've been doing it, and it's something where I can actually see it coming together. So this idea of devising, first of all, the word devise, it means to. I had the official. Let me read the official definition. To plan or invent a complex procedure, system, or mechanism by careful thought. Keep that in mind when it comes to devising. And then they also have, when it comes to law, it says to leave, especially like real estate, to someone by the terms of a will. So that I'm also thinking about that too. So that's like the official definition of device. Device, that's with an S, right? So device with a C, we know like things that are devices. This water bottle is a device. This this microphone is a device. And so the way that I remixed it and took all of their definitions, it's and I wrote it down. And this is what I said when it comes to for artists, okay? I said, I have my notebook down here.
Yeah.
I said any and everything that draws you back or towards your original creation. So, and I specifically said, so I'm gonna say it again, anything and everything, yeah. We like that. We're powerful like that. Anything and everything that draws you back, and so back meaning external, or towards meaning internal. your
Okay.
original creation. So what I'm going to be doing with the devising original work is how we can use our internal natures, our internal energy, our internal world, and how we use the external world. It's both. We got to use both.
Right.
We have to
As
use
above,
both.
so below. Yeah.
So below, as within, so without, yin to
Right.
the yang.
Right. And it's like completing a whole like field around you, field of reality. Realm of reality. Oh, okay.
And to say, you know, I think of the hero's journey too. Like when the hero is out,
yes,
you know, say, yeah. So something can remind them of home, or when
right.
when they're in their masculine energy, when they're fighting, that's towards the goal that'll eventually take them back home. So it's that idea of when you set that intention of, okay, I need inspiration or I need content for my story. What can I do subconsciously to always remind me of triggers? I think Flight Boss's latest video was about emotional triggers. This is how we can use the trigger in the positive, you know?
Okay. Okay, yeah. So use the emotional trigger, but you're carrying it through your original work to transmute it.
Transmute it, seal it, capture it. Exactly. Transmute it to what you're trying to get done.
Okay.
And that was just something brilliant that Flight Boss said earlier this week. That just these
kind of like, I gotta write it down.
Oh man, it was one of the. I think it was like 2 nights ago. I was smoking, laying back in my solo space. I took care of all my responsibilities. I'm chilling with my cat. He had said something like, you know, like all these like minor frustrations or depressions or like minor little things that you go through during the day, put that towards your goals. Put that towards, you know, instead of like, oh, I gotta push through this, and as soon as I get through this, I'm paraphrasing, you know, obviously.
No, it was I was there. I went to the live. I know what you're talking about. I was there.
All right, yeah. But, oh man, it was just as soon as I was like, wait, all these little tit for tat energy and weird shit I pick up throughout the day, just put it toward it, because one day that goal going. I was like, oh come on, we alchemists now.
You see, that's why I have I got my poster up. Goals sensei. Like, come on, I put it all into the goals. You know, it's all going back into me, into this, into what we're creating, into, you know, as the creator. These are the creations. These are what I've created. So they're always going back to go, but yeah, this is a good,
real shit.
Good
and you know,
things to be thinking about in original work. Yeah.
I did the opposite. I thought I had to fight through some shit and conquer Goliath the giant. The minor little things I would go through during my day. Like I thought that I had to fight through that, and if I didn't get through that, then I won't reach my goal. Nope. All right, got another shortcut, got another trick up my sleeve. I know how to get through that shit now. Charge it to the game, basically. You know, charge it to the esoteric game. It's a good game. So, you know, it's good game. It's always good game. It's always good game. Yes, we learn. We out here. So yeah, going back to the devising. So I'm gonna start with internal first. I'm gonna use myself as an example, and then we'll go to the external things that we can do, how we utilize our senses. Okay, let me draw back. My bad. So internal, it's gonna be. I have about like 3 points that we can use. The first is called mythologizing, which is an original theory that I created when it comes to devising original work, to mythologize. The next one is called memory recall, how we can sit in our space and kind of relive a memory, not get lost in it, but just kind of be like the bird's eye view of it, the God and the machine of it, the sky of that memory, and just look at it and observe it as it is. And then we can do something called a senses recall. Like anytime you smell something good, or like sitting back, a lot of it has to do with imagination, obviously. Like that last time you smelled that really good dessert, weed, you know, last time, I'm saying dessert, my hungry ass. Last time you heard your favorite song, or, you know, things like that. So those will be the internal things. So yeah, like I said, I use myself as the example. And so mythologize, I have my handy dandy tablet here, and inside of the Google folder, that's where I put all my like my digital content, digital work. But basically, I have the series is called Lost Dogs Chase Tales, and it's about 12 or so stories that I sat back and their different memories, their different virtues, their episodes that happened in my own life, but I exaggerated them, I personified them, I turned them into happily ever after, so to speak, stories instead of like, damn, I done went through some bullshit type stories. And so mythologizing is basically, it's not making yourself the hero, it's not making yourself the villain, it's making yourself the central star of your story. So and thinking of central stars in astronomy, we have the sun, but we know that the sun isn't the only planet. And for the sun to be so exalted, it has to be an earth that has to be there to exalt it. There has to be the beings that are there in this water cycle to see that water. We're a part of the same thing, but it's like we need each other. I'm speaking for the earth, or this body of water. So creating yourself as the central star, as in when you move, how does the action move? And that can be either you change your mind about something. Yeah, you change your mind about something. You can change geographical locations. I mean, we do this every day. We wake up from bed and we go to the bathroom. That's a transit. To trivialize it in a way, obviously, and to water it down, but that's a transit. Think about all those things that went in your mind as you traveled from your bathroom, then to the kitchen. Now, again, these are just very, very small, very, very minute things that we do. But then, all right, what happens when you go outside? What happens before you go outside? What are you doing when you go outside? I like rhetoricals.
Yes.
And so with mythologize, I'll use myself as an example. Like I said, I have a story that's called The Jaguar. That's so funny. I said the Jaguar and my baby cat came up. She looked like a little Jaguar. That's so funny. She my little Jaguar. But so it turned into this kind of thriller, mystery, crime, murder, mystery type of narrative. And you know how it started? When I was, this was back in 2018, I was working as a barista downtown. I would have to take the bus. I would have to take the bus to get downtown, take the pink bus. And I would be on that bus blasting my music, and there was this bypass that we would go underneath, kind of like a tunnel. The bypass on top was a train, just because, it's the port city and shit, trains, whatever, magic squares, whatever. On the side of that bypass, Chance, I would see a stuffed jaguar. Every single day. Rain, when it was raining, it was there. When it was hot as hell, it was there. When it was cloudy, I would see that jaguar. I would see it every single day. And the more and more I see it, the more and more my flunked out mind. You also have to be flunked out to devise original work. I will say that. You gotta be able to say, you gotta be able to be like, all right, I ain't all the way up there when it comes to whatever. But
niggas fucked up in the head, fucked up in the head, fucked
up in the head. I would see this jaguar every single day. And the more the consistency the more that I would see it, the more I'd say, what is the story behind this jaguar? Why would someone place it right here? And from there, I created a narrative about, and this is what I just created in my mind back then. I said, wow, what if this jaguar, I'm talking to myself, what if this jaguar comes alive at night? I'm like, okay. Just go with it. What I would say again about devising original work is don't necessarily, if you're on a train of thought, don't block yourself. Just allow everything to flow. Accept everything. Because even those things like, when you're throwing up the pasta, when you're cooking pasta, you throw up the noodles, some of them going to stick for a while, but after time, you're going to be like, oh, damn, it's falling down. Like, oh, okay. But I would say accept everything until it's time to let it go, or it doesn't make any more sense in your narrative. So there is that kind of, allow things to happen. So I kept going with that train of thought. I kept going with that train of thought. I said, okay, what if it comes alive at night? I'm like, all right, it's a jaguar though. It's a ferocious beast. It's a big cat. What if it protects certain people? Because now at this point, I'm thinking about my geographical location. I'm downtown. I'm like, okay, well, who are the most vulnerable that are downtown? I'm thinking of the homeless. I think of the old elderly. I'm thinking of the kids. And I'm just like, I'm at work making coffees and stuff. I'm thinking about this Jaguar. I'm like, is the Jaguar gonna be there when I get back? And I'm driving past the bypass and I turn around, I'm like, oh, the Jaguar's still there.
Oh my goodness.
And it turned into a whole story called, and I called it the Jaguar. And then I started to do some research about it. So that's more external. I feel like that's getting away from internal. But
okay.
Kind of going into
the research you're doing, that's a little bit external.
Mm-hmm. And that's external, and that's what I call. I mean, it's doing research. I just call it drawing inspiration. Like literally, like drawing in, or literally like drawing inspiration by using the external. But long story short, that is a story that I have in the works, and it all started from that dirty stuffed Jaguar that I've seen on my commute to work and back, and it turned into something else about my awareness. The story is about like my awareness of like what goes on in the city. Things of that nature, and that's to say, like, I'm mythologizing that point and that part of my life. That kind of episode that happened in my life, I drew inspiration from that Jaguar, and then it just turned into an entire narrative from there. So that's a part of the internal realization of devising work. Always going back to that, going back, anything and everything that draws you back to the idea, going back to that Jaguar, and then towards it, because I want to see this narrative through. Okay, what does the Jaguar mean in my life? What kind of state of being was I in when I kept seeing that Jaguar? Oh, I want to go to work that day. That was also the time that I was working to save up to go to school. So I'm thinking like, all right, I'm working towards the goal of going to school. Okay, what were these types of thoughts and feelings, And the thoughts and feelings then turn into characters. The thoughts, the men, the masculine, the women, the feelings, the emotions, they can then turn into characters in your narrative as well. So that's mythologizing. Yeah, that's mythologizing.
Nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Another internal device that you can use is memory recall, and I basically said it before. It's going back to a memory, right? Whether good or bad or neutral or mundane, something that was most likely catastrophic. I know for me, when I'm writing, I go to that catastrophic, or I'll go to the most confused moment of my life. And 9 times out of 10 for me, it's my childhood. I'd be like, damn, what happened in my childhood? I just like, this is me for real. Like, I just be like, what happened in my childhood? Why was there so much transformation and death? Where's my family at? And I try to go there and I try to answer myself. I try to come up with an answer, and usually that answer is going to be in the narrative. It's going to be there. Memory recall, that's a little bit on the traumatic side, but a memory recall on the positive can just be that last time that special someone made you smile, or that last time you made yourself feel really good. These don't necessarily have to build a narrative off of that, but these can just be little moments that you try to seal in, and that can be a part of your character. Like the same thing that made you feel good is what makes your character feel good. You like to eat chocolate sundaes on Tuesday, so does your character. And these are just little things that when you're reading your story, or when a stranger's reading your story, they don't know that that's you. They don't know that that's a part of you. But that also leaves your imprint. Yeah, that leaves your imprint in the story as well. And that was a trivial, that was a trivial type of thing. It could get deeper.
I like that. I like how simple. I like the simplicity. Make it plain and simple for me.
It is. It really is that. You know what I'm saying? It really is that. So, and that's memory recall. And then senses recall is more of an imaginative device that you can use. Like thinking about like what makes you cringe. what if you look at it, you'll cringe. If you smell it, you'll cringe. If you taste it, you'll cringe. If you feel it, you'll cringe. How do you utilize your senses in order to go back to a time, or go towards a time where you see yourself out of the situation, and you can run and tell the story, or you can run and tell the testament, the testimony, because that's basically what stories are, testaments, whether, so that's imaginative device, or you can literally use it. I mean, I don't got really nothing that smell good. I do have some matches.
Oh, I have matches too. I keep a box of matches.
So this is just, just the practice.
Yeah.
Well, I broke that. so not that one.
You did it so fast.
I did it too fast. I don't even really be lighting matches. I use this for my rituals. I got like 3 boxes though.
What?
Me personally, I love the smell of like burning candles or when you just blow something out. I love that smell. So this.
Oh yeah.
This is just like, this is, and so I'm thinking like, this smells really good. Okay. What if I start the narrative off with someone lighting a match? That's how the story starts, or that's how that chapter starts. I can just think, okay, I love this. Okay, why did someone have to burn a match? Why did I just have to do that? Right. I mean, I know why I just did it as an example, but why did the character just burn a match? Maybe they was just doing a ritual for themselves, or maybe they're trying to light the way because the power went out. My power went out last night, so I'm thinking about that. You know,
right.
So these are just things that if you set the intention of I'm gonna write this narrative, everything around you is gonna help you do that. And that's a good segue to go into the external, because that's how we use the external as a bit to get to draw our inspiration to know ourselves more, and to help us write our narrative. So that's all for internal. That's all for internal. Those are my big three. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So going into external now, this is like the fun part. This is where the magic kicks in. This is where your individuality kicks in, because I'm only going to say about 3 or 4 type of exercises or things that you can do, but it's my hope that you have like infinity more things that you can do, because we all have our way of going about it. So I'll say these are like the big 4 that I have. One is called sound association, drawing inspiration, setting intention, and that's like the biggest one. That's the magic. That's where we mastics. That's where that comes in.
Right.
And then the 4th one is called free for all. Free for all. So I'll start with sound association. Like anytime you hear like everybody clap your hands. Like if you hear someone clapping like this in a row, I don't know about y'all, but for me, I'm about to how low can you go?
Right.
Can you go that like? But if you hear someone like, maybe someone's trying to get your attention. Another example is like when you're honking the car. Like say someone lets you have the right of way, you might do a quick little did it like thank you. Or if someone's like pissing you off because they don't know how to fucking drive, like the sound and how you react and respond to sound, any type of sound, picking up on those small little intricacies. Maybe like I'll use myself for example. Like yesterday, hearing lightning, but it wasn't just lightning. I was in the area where the lightning was striking. Now that I have never experienced that. Only thing that could go on in my head is everything that could go wrong. I survived, but hearing lightning that close and it cracking and it hitting things and you seeing the things that it hit, I'm like, whoa, like the hairs on my neck just stood up. I'm like, I don't like that. But if I heard lightning and thunder from like miles away, I'd be like, oh, a lovely thunderstorm. Like something like that. Like, oh, okay, like damn. But I didn't even know the people who are near that lightning, they might be experiencing what I experienced. Like, oh shit, I'm a little scared. Like something like that. So how can sounds in all different types, because there's not just one type of sound. If you hear water being like poured out from a cup, or if you just hear the leaky faucet, what how can we take each of like I'll use the water for example, put that into a different context, and what does it make you go towards internally? So the internal is what you go towards, and the external is what you go back to. So if you're hearing different sounds, what does it make you go back to? It makes you go back to that time, or it makes you go back to your, it's like, oh, okay. I was listening, I don't know, for some reason, I just wanted to hear Michael Jackson, Remember the Time this morning. I had no power. I barely had any juice on my phone. I played Remember the Time, and I just rocked out to that. I was like, what? Do you? So that just reminded me of that. That was random as hell.
Right.
Remember the time, that through sound association. That song is good. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh yeah, that is a powerful song though.
So good. Yeah, the lyrics. Come on.
Yeah, especially time travelers,
He said something about the fall. Do you remember back in the fall? Living on and on and on. He said something.
Right.
Wait. Every morning birds would sing. Sound association. Like every morning birds would sing. You remember the time? Like, and he must have been in a good mood because sometimes you hear birds, you'd be like, shut the fuck up, bird. No, he was like, no, he was like, no, them birds was singing. He was in a good mood. Like, the birds was singing. That would always happen. I hear birds. I'm like, shut the fuck up, birds. Like, damn, we get it. That's what I get. But yeah, so sound association and thinking of how one sound in one context can draw you back to a memory or draw you back to your narrative. The next one is drawing inspiration. Now I know for me as an artist, I like to give credit where credit is due. And I'm not afraid to say I drew inspiration from this individual inspired me. Because from there, I'm able to create completely something new. So drawing inspiration is doing the research. Drawing inspiration is listening to your favorite songs, having a conversation with somebody. I just thought of that. Say that you do have a concept. Maybe not telling that you want to write a story, but maybe asking, hey, what is your take on Jaguars? What I like, that's just an example. Like I say, hey, Chance, like when you think of a Jaguar, what do you think of? And in the back of your mind,
it reminds me of ECHL energy, It just reminds me of fortitude and like that ferociousness to see yourself through any situation.
Come on. And in the back of my mind, I can take the mental note like, okay, these are characteristics of the Jaguar. The virtues, the totem in indigenous culture, like the totem of the Jaguar. Like, okay, all right. And I just built that up just now. So having conversations, doing research, obviously discerning, because I no longer look to Google as like the end all be all.
Not anymore. God damn, fuck, I don't know. Never go to Google no more. I go to DuckDuckGo. Fuck a Google.
DuckDuckGo. The Google scholars. and learning how to discern from someone else's opinion about a topic, or if you look up astrology based on someone else's interpretation, you're like, wait, let me discern. What are they pointing to? What is their agenda? What's their bias? Things like that. So doing research, listening to your favorite song, treating yourself good. You know what I'm saying? Like a good bath, if you like bath, a good blunt, some good food. This is like drawing inspiration. Yeah. Like what inspires you? What inspires you? And this is and what I was gonna say was, as you're treating yourself to something good, setting that intention that when you go out into the world, you're gonna get. Oh God, hold on. Let me draw back. Going okay, because let me be careful, because it's like I want to be careful with my words. So say for instance, you set the intention that you're about to write something. I'll use myself as an example again. I'm currently writing The Black Jester. Right. So in my mind, I'm saying when I get home or when I'm at work. No. If I'm at work, I'm like, as soon as I get home, I'm gonna write the play. Wrong answer. Okay. I'm outside and I'm experiencing life. There will be small little instances that'll remind me of something to add to the story, or maybe something that I feel like I'm missing, because I get frustrated when I write. Because if I get like, it's not necessarily writer's block, but it's like, okay, how do I transition this part of the story to this part? Something will happen outside where I'll find the answer to that. Or I'll say, this interaction or the way that this person interacted with me reminded me of something in The Black Jester, reminded me of something maybe that I'm missing or that I want to add. That sign. I remember one day I drove past like Jester Court, I'm like, wait a second, Jester, court, Jester. I'm like, wait a second. These synchronicities that because we set the intention that we're gonna write, or that I'm looking for inspiration. How can I fill in the blanks on certain things? You go out, you will get that inspiration.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to be careful with how I worded that before, because in my mind I was like, yeah, you go out and, but I'm like, wait a second, no, you have to set the intention. It won't just be there. You know, you won't just come into something. You have to do the mental work and say, hey, I'm about to go out and write this play. And for me, I'm like, oh, I got to get home after I'm done. No. I'm currently writing a play. Whatever I'm doing, I can be I can be at work. I can be at a friend's house. This week I celebrated my little brother's birthday. We was watching movies. I'm like, happy birthday, Leo King. But but I'm sitting there in the living room and we're watching movies. And these are movies I've never seen. It was like the new Thor. We was watching some other shit. And in my mind, I'm like, oh shit, I'm inspired. Look at how the writer, like, look at how they created the world. I'm just sitting on the edge of the couch with my notebook. I brought my notebook with me because I'm like, I'm getting inspired. I don't give a fuck. Like, and I was just watching the movie, getting it, like, just really, really finding the narrative in everything that you do.
Yes.
And keeping that attention, you know?
Okay.
Keeping that attention. Like, I'm currently writing something. Everything that you experience, because that's another thing. I like to keep things current. I like to keep things right now. And by that, I mean, you know, like, it could be like a timepiece, but if we're experiencing a certain energy right now in this moment, I want to try my best to put that in, because that's what keeps things relevant. That's what keeps like the story came out in 2022. You know, and in that story, it's about shit that we experienced in 2022: isolation, confusion, diseases, blah 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 blah, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what also helps me to keep the story kind of now, if that's what you want to do.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm challenging myself with the Black Jester. I'm gonna set it in like 2012. But honestly, 2012 was like the starting point of 2022. You know, like it was really like,
I already know my whole life changed. I had came back from war. And I got hospitalized. I was hospitalized in 2012, 2013, 2014. Wow. Then they retired me out the military. Wow. But I was in, when I came back from Afghanistan, I was fucked up in the head. I was in crazy ward.
And I'm not like saying like agreeing. That's all fucked up shit. But that's to say, you know, like, that was a starting point of a certain awareness that we still have in 2022. So yeah, real shit.
That's a real time. That's a real transform. That whole time, I was 220, like 250 pounds. I was big.
Where?
Right here.
Where? Now,
right here. I was
transformation. Yeah.
I was huge. But
it's been about 10 years. But look at you.
Right.
I mean, in all aspects too. All the shit that we went through. It's some fucked up shit, but we here. And yeah. And I say that to say, I'm gonna be writing it in that time period, but then just also thinking of the current events of that time, how 10 years later we're kind of thinking and doing the same things a little bit.
Right. You know? We are. We really, if you really feel it and really like, if you really feel this time, it really does feel like 2012 for real. Like, it's so weird. I don't know how to explain it, because it's like, my body has this memory, but it's like, but I'm in a new space. You know what I'm saying?
In a new space.
Like, it's so weird, because it'd be like, hold up, wasn't I already here though? Like, what didn't I already go through this? Like, yeah, man. And it feels like I'm like traveling through time, but no, it's right now. It's happening right now, and it's like, whoa. This is huge. So, like, and I have so much more self-empowerment now, and so much more, like, you know, I've been through the shit. You know, and then so now it's like, oh, I'm ready. I'm mission ready. Not on no combat mission, but I'm like mission ready. Like, shit.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on. I know what you're saying. There was so much that I wanted to respond to, but I'm gonna just let that be and No, for real. I feel like that's a whole podcast topic, just
It
2012 and where we were
is.
and what it means now. And my hope
Like,
with the narrative that I'm building, my hope,
mm-hmm,
you know, not to get lost back then, but as you were
mm-hmm,
saying, like we're in a new space. I get to
right.
see the mentality that I was upholding. I get to see how naive I was in a lot of ways
Oh,
and how I
oh,
can personally mature in these areas because
right.
I was not, you know, I don't know what other motherfuckers was on. They was on some self-hating type of shit. I loved myself in 2012. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
I just graduated high school.
yeah.
You know, I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do, but I knew who I was. But I was
Right.
looking at my environment to dictate that. And that was where I knew I went wrong. And even now that I
Mm.
know of myself when it comes to my natal chart, South Node Gemini in the seventh house. Come on, I was lost
Oh,
in the
what? You got
mutability.
South Node Gemini in the seventh house?
How people looked at me like I'm looking at them for validation. I'm like, yeah, what should I go to school for? I should do
Oh,
communications. I should go where the money is. But no, me, I'm like, I want to do theater. You want to do theater? Yeah, I'm gonna be the best at it. What you talking about? I don't know. I didn't even do theater until like like 2015. You know, like it took. I'm a late bloomer, but it took me to go through community college. Then to get to 4 year, I did one semester of communications, whatever the fuck that
right,
is. Then I went
right.
right to theater, went straight to the tippy top of that bitch, saw what they wanted and expected of me and said, no, I'm out. You know, I got to do it my own way. Got to
Same
do it my
story.
own way. I'm a late bloomer. So that's what I hope to kind of look at that mentality that I was in of just being a late bloomer and showing like, don't even wherever your South Node is, I'm going to just show like, don't get too caught up in if you have what you got on lock, you don't even got to share it with others. You just got to show them. Because if you open up your mouth and say, what should I do? But you already have a little inkling of what you should be doing, you
Right.
fucked up. You
You
fucked up. Now you in
fucked
someone
up.
else's dream.
You fucked.
I was
You're
playing a
gonna be
role in
somebody's
everyone else.
slave, nigga.
Ah,
Sorry.
I was in someone else's movie for a good 2-3 years. I wasn't
I already
the
know. I'm
star.
already
Right,
knowing.
right, right. And
I'm
I be
already
yep.
knowing. I'm a star. Let me tell I'm a star. Shit.
So that's what the black jester is. That's a part of it, you know. That's a part of it, and it's to say 10 years down the line, all right, I know what I'm doing. So the next 10 years,
Right,
I don't got to
right,
deal with that same shit. I
right.
don't got to. Yeah, yes, but yeah, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Come on.
Inspiration.
It's what we do. It's what we do. Watch this. Watch this. Come on, it's what we do.
Inspiration for real.
So,
That shit
so
go hard. Damn. I felt that this conversation. I felt it. God damn it.
come on, come on, come on. It's what we do. It's what we doing now.
Woo,
And
yes,
my
big
last point.
things.
Mm-hmm. And the intentions that we set, it all starts mentally. I have to go
Yeah,
out and anything with my body. Golly, you know.
right,
I just sat back and let those intentions grow bigger and bigger and bigger. But when I
right.
did go outside, I always had in my mind to just fucking enjoy myself. I never had to
Yeah,
like, oh, if I put in the elbow grease or if I
no,
try to get over that person. And that's going to
no.
be a segue. This is my last point when it comes to devising work. Like I call it a free for all. Have
Mm-hmm.
fun exploring. One of the
Right.
exercises that we did in the theater cohort, my teacher had a trunk, like a treasure chest full of random accessories, glasses, wigs, rings, pants, mustaches, guns. She would open it up. We would go up on stage and we would have to improvise a scene based on these accessories. Now, this is just an example of one exercise that you can do. Say, for
Right.
example, you're writing your narrative, you're
Right.
sitting and writing your narrative, and you have two characters that are involved, maybe mother, daughter, best friend. What I would advise as an exercise, because you know, like that's like very much theater world, but writing narratives, imagine improvising your mind or write it out for like a good 5 minutes. What would a conversation be between the two characters?
Okay.
Or if you don't physically want to do that, just imagine it. What would the first 5 minutes of the story sound like? I call this free for all. Create that space for you to just write without the intention of you have to finish something or it has to make sense because it don't. When you give yourself that free for all space, you're exploring, you're in the darkness, you're looking for the light. You might not even find it right then and there, but you are accepting the fact that you're just swimming. I'm just swimming. I'm improvising. Um, her name is Rose Gold Wings on Instagram, but shout out to Drea because she introduced me the concept of free write. We set the timer for like a good 30 minutes and you just write. You don't even think about what you're writing. Now me, I be thinking about what I'm writing, but I'm like, I gotta stop. So I gotta challenge myself, but give yourself, hey, if you want to do 30 minutes, do 30 minutes. An hour, do an hour, but just write and don't stop. Nice. So this is allowing yourself to not even question what it is that you're writing, but just experiencing it. And then you can sit back and ponder on it afterwards, like, dang, I like where I went with that. Or that don't make no sense. Or I could just take 25% of what I wrote and then create something from there. So the free-for-all, and that's the last, external device that we can use. The free-for-all is giving yourself that time and space to go back to your inner child, create a playground wherever you are. If it's in your room, if it's outside, if it's mentally, create a playground in order for you to explore and say, hey, I don't necessarily know where I'm going with the story, but I'm going to use this time to create imagination, imagine the nation. I'm going to use this time to, what would this, I just, mentally, you just met a new character that maybe they wasn't in this story. Maybe they come from another universe. Okay, let me keep exploring. All right, time's up. Time's up. Now you have to ponder on what you just did. And that's what I have for the internal. So let me go back. Okay. That's all I have. So devising original work. Any and everything that draws you back, external or towards internal, your original creation. You can use mythologizing, creating characters, virtues, and principles off of your central experience. You can, and that experience can come through memory recall or sensory recall, or you can use external devices such as sound association, drawing inspiration, setting intention, and then going out and living life and experiencing, and doing a free-for-all, creating a free space for a safe space, a free space for yourself to ponder on your ideas. You can use a timer or you can just go off. I mean, come back, but you can just go off in a la la land and say, hey, I got a new story. These spirits, these characters are going to get drawn to it. And then you just seal that bitch in and like, all right, I got the story. Got it. And and that's it. That's
nice.
It.
Nice. Got it. It's kind of, it sounds very artistic, I think this is what I do when I draw, and like paint. And I build these stories and narratives in my mind with the colors and how they're moving together and how they're relating and corresponding together, like on paper and stuff. But I'm really excited to start writing this narrative, But thank you for this. Thank you. This was amazing. I appreciate this.
Of course, and thank you for holding space and was there anything that you wanted to add to or anything else? Before I hit the record button and take that off.
Yeah, I really got a lot from this. Yeah. I'm in my narrative writing part of my life right now. So
love that.
This is what I've been doing as an artist, but now I'm like putting it down, and putting it, really building the character, forming the character, I got all the things to it. Now it's like, this is helping me, this is helping with my structure, even how I'm structuring my mind, around the stories, around the characters and narratives. I appreciate this deeply.
For sure. And as you were speaking, it reminded me of my journey. I didn't start off as a writer. I started out I embodied first. I acted first. I performed first. To be honest with you, I didn't think I was a strong writer. Yeah, I didn't think this has been developed. And in recent years, since watching Flight Boss and being inspired to write it down and apply it. But when I was just performing for like a good 6-7 years, I was just picking up on these things. I was just picking up on, the more I got involved in the performance aspect, and then I stepped out of it. I said, wait, I know exactly how to write a play. Why did I ever doubt myself before? Because I was looking at what was getting the most attention, blah, 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 getting lost in that illusion. But I said, wait a second. That's when I was referring to, you know, coming and leaving school and then finding that thing. And I found that thing that I found. Yeah. So so working backwards, and you're saying that this is your narrative writing time. Same. I was just imagining all of it and embodying it, but now it's time to put it, because I'm about to go into another space with my embodiment. I can't keep embodying the same thing. So I'm putting it all out on paper. So then wherever I am 10 years from now, I can look back and be like, oh, okay, I wrote that down. I'm glad I wrote that down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we know what we're doing now. We remember. Right. And this is our time, man. We're about to blow the fuck up, man. This shit, I'm telling you. Like,
let's go.
We've got so much, so much embodied. My body been places. I've been places, and it's like, it's time. I'm gonna physicalize it. I'm gonna put it into form, you know. This is why we get a mental pilot to put it. I'm gonna put it up there. Yeah, here's the mental pilot.
Yes, come on.
Motherfucker.
I got the wings coming up my head. We about to transform into actual planes. Like, we about to go. Like, we out of here. This is making us light. We're getting it off of us. It's a cathartic release. This shit goes deep. You know, it goes really deep. But I like it that it just looks like little plays and archetypes. But we know that this shit goes deep. And that was a realization. That was a boom I just had just now speaking with you. Like embodying for so long, but you just can't keep it on you for too long. You can't keep it on you if you want to go to a new space. That's some good shit. That's some good shit. Wow. It's what we doing. It's what we do. Well, I'm gonna end the recording on that note.
Okay.
I'm gonna end the recording on that note.